And this is Baton Rouge Labor Radio. I'm Michael D. Day, and we are proudly broadcast on WHYR 96.9 FM. This morning, I am proud, elated to have Mr. Thomas E. Aswell, whose blog, LouisianaVoice.com, gives you the close inside scoop of what's going on at the state capitol. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Thomas E. Aswell.
E is for ignorant.
Yep, I don't believe that. If you read Mr. Aswell's blog, LouisianaVoice.com, he dots the I's and crosses the T's of what's going on in the committee meetings down at the state capitol. Good morning, Mr. Aswell, and I'd like to say I heard you on Jim Inkster the other morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Would you tell us how the roots of your blog started? What made you do this?
Well, first of all, I got Teagued. I worked for the...
Teagued?
Teagued, as in Tommy Teague and Melanie Teague.
Oh.
Two celebrities that Jindal cut off at the knees.
Oh, okay.
That's the number one sport in the governor's mansion, is firing people.
People that don't agree with it.
Exactly. If you don't agree with them, you hit the bricks. I worked for the Advocate back in the 70s and left and went up to North Louisiana, where I'm originally from, and worked for some papers up there for a while. Missed Baton Rouge. I came back down here in 1980 and opened Capital News Service and covered state government for about 40 different newspapers all over the state, localized the stories, most of it very mundane stuff. I didn't really get into the nuts and bolts of state government back then because I didn't really understand it. Problem was with the Bureau is I didn't have any retirement program and didn't have health benefits, and I had a family. So I sold the Bureau and went to work for the state in 1991, the Office of Risk Management, and stayed there for 20 years. And shortly before I left, Representative John Schroeder from Covington initiated a series of bills to abolish civil service and to abolish pay raises, and it incensed me, and I'm the type of person that can't keep his mouth shut. So I started an email campaign against Mr. Schroeder.
What year was this?
That was 2 years ago, and in 2010. And I started an email campaign against Mr. Schroeder, more, I guess, personally, because he was the one that sponsored the bill. He's the one that authored them. And it kind of got me behind the 8 ball where I worked, and they eventually called me in and told me they would put me on paid leave pending an investigation of my lobbying legislators. And I just looked at them and kind of laughed. I said, well, you know, you can investigate if you want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and take my retirement. I'm eligible. And you can continue investigation or you can drop it. It doesn't matter to me. But you did ignore one very important premise, and that was in the movie The Godfather, and that's where it said keep your friends close and your enemies closer, and they just made an enemy of me. And that's when I started my blog. So that's a short story.
That was 2 years ago.
Correct. Well, actually, the blog actually started only a year ago.
Right, and the blog you can also pick up on Facebook.
Yes.
And I am a fan. That's disclosure right there. I am a fan or a friend or whatever what is it? Friend on Facebook.
Friend, yeah, friend.
And I get the emails. And as far as your blog, LouisianaVoice.com, are you willing to tell us how many sources you have at the Capitol?
Well, let me say one thing first. This is something I'm very proud of. Day before yesterday, I set a new record with 4,241 hits, and that's direct hits. And of course, those people pass the blog along to other people, so that probably translates to about 20,000 readers overall.
I pass it on, that's for sure.
Well, that was day before yesterday, 4,241 hits. Yesterday, I broke that by over 1,000. I hit 5,271. And that's a new record, so I'm very pleased with that, and that translates to roughly 20 to 25,000 readers. So
that's a lot of readers.
And as far as my sources, I have many sources. I don't have any one source. They're scattered in practically every agency in the state, with the exception of the division. I don't have any sources there, obviously, but My sources are in virtually every agency in the state. And well, when I say none in the division, I guess that's incorrect too, because the Office of Risk Management is in the Division of Administration, and I have sources there where I used to work. So I guess I even have them in the division, but I have sources all over.
Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Why do you do it?
The reason I do it is frankly, I'm very disturbed at what this governor's trying to do. I'm very disturbed at what the American Legislative Exchange Council is trying to do.
ALEC.
And I'm very happy to see ALEC on the demise now, on the wane. Simply because, actually, it's because of the shooting death of that young man in Florida that has really brought about some bad times for ALEC. Corporate members are bailing out, and yesterday we had our very first legislator to bail out.
Now, you're very informed with ALEC.
I try to be.
So tell me and our readers, on a scale of 1 to 10, with all this happening to ALEC, Coca-Cola pulled out, PepsiCo pulled out,
Gates Foundation pulled out, Kraft.
Yeah. And I couldn't understand why the Gates Foundation was there to begin with, but
education.
But I wouldn't think Bill Gates would be against tenure for teachers.
Oh yeah, he's all for the charter schools.
Okay.
He's behind that 100%.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, right now, how bad is it for ALEC with all of this going on?
How bad is it for them?
For them.
Oh, probably a 6, because they still have lots of money behind them.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, and they still got the anti-union
they still got the Koch
agenda,
brothers.
the Koch brothers.
Yep.
So it really hadn't crippled them. It's just maybe a temporary stun.
They also still have Walmart. Let's not forget
Walmart.
that. Let's not forget that Walmart is a big supporter of ALEC.
And we have a phrase here on Baton Rouge Labor Radio when some don't make a lot of sense to us. We call it Walmart stupid.
Yep.
So go on if you would, Mr. Aswell.
Well, one of the things I find about ALEC, and I was not able to prove this until yesterday, and we knew it, but we couldn't quantify it, if you will. We knew ALEC was writing legislation for our legislature. We knew it. We simply couldn't put a finger on say that the charter school program or the education reform was written by ALEC per se. The legislators and the administration always had deniability. But yesterday, Representative Cromer withdrew from ALEC because, and this is his reasoning for withdrawing, although I really don't think that's the real reason. I think that he's just taking the heat because of the expenses that he's received from ALEC along with several other legislators. But he said that prior to the session this year, that ALEC staff members met with Representative Pearson and Senator Guillory, who are the chairman of their respective retirement committees. Kevin Pearson's chairman of the House Retirement Committee, and Albert Guillory is chairman of the Senate Retirement Committee. And of course, if you've been keeping up with the legislature at all, you realize the controversy behind the state retirement program or reform. But he said that they came in and met with Guillory and Pearson and didn't inform him, and he felt like he should have been informed because he is the state, or was the state chairman of ALEC since 2010. So what he's saying was there was a secret meeting that he should have been in on, and I find that rather amusing.
His feelings were hurt.
His feelings were hurt. I don't think that's the real reason. I think the real reason is because I broke a story earlier this week or maybe last week, I don't even remember, they run together, that ALEC, when they have any kind of conference or meeting or convention, they pay the expenses, travel, lodging, meals, and registration fees for legislative members. And they pay this. And I have a copy of the email that went out to the legislators here in Louisiana offering to pay all these expenses. And yet I find that many of our legislators filed expense reports with the House and Senate, and it implies that somebody's doing some double dipping.
Double dipping.
And I think with the stories I've been writing about ALEC and about the contributions made to these by corporate members of ALEC to these legislators who sit on these committees that make these decisions, I think the heat just got too much for Mr. Cromer, and I think he used that as an excuse.
I know the double dipping is not kosher, but is now under the expenses that legislatures are legal to receive. Is that even legal that ALEC could pay their expenses even if they didn't double dip?
I certainly think it would be unethical.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely unethical.
But you keep in mind now, the legislators exempt themselves from a lot of the same constraints that apply to civil service employees. For example, when I worked for civil service, one of my coworkers was sent a ham by one of our vendors for Christmas, a perfectly innocent gesture, and as if she has any influence on awarding contracts, which she does not. And she was fined $250 by the Ethics Commission. And yet legislators are free to accept meals, to accept invitations to parties and tickets to sporting events. And we are not, I say we, I'm no longer a civil servant employee, but when I was a civil servant, I was not allowed to accept any of that, which is a good rule. I'm not harping because I couldn't accept them. I'm harping because legislators could. The playing field is not even.
Not even at all. We're talking with Mr. Thomas Oswell. Tom Oswell.
Aswell.
Aswell.
No O, it's an A.
Aswell. With his blog, LouisianaVoice.com, which is a comprehensive of what all is going on at the state capitol and the committee meetings, and how he started his blog 2 years ago under the circumstances that he has just stated. And what do you think's going to happen eventually with from just a layman's point of view, my view, uninformed, uneducated point of view? I would say that when they take all this to court for the school teachers, that all of it's going to get shot down except maybe the tenure. What would be your take on that, Mr. Aswell?
I don't know exactly what's going to happen on that. I don't know that there's going to be that much of a court fight with the education reform, but I can guarantee you there's going to be one hell of a court fight over the state retirement reform package because Governor Jindal is breaking contracts, and the U.S. Constitution forbids